welcome to this episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
Thank you for joining us. This week's episode is brought to you by Please Don't Ask for More because we can't say any more than Tammy, what do you think of this week's sponsor?
I think we need to pause on our sponsorships.
Why?
It's getting more and more ridiculous every time.
Hey, the check's clear. Well, this week we get into the gray with Netflix's The Gray Man, starring Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Regin Page. I always have a hard time saying his name. And Anna de Armas as CIA operatives on a hunt for one of the CIA's most dangerous assets, all for their own nefarious reasons. When the CIA's most lethal and ghostly agent accidentally stumbles onto the deadly secrets that could stop the upper echelon of the agency, they send a psychotic sociopath after him to retrieve those secrets as well as make sure the ghost disappears forever. So, Tammy, what did you think of The Gray Man? Was it a colorful, high octane action thriller, or did it give up the ghost?
I think it was really good. Constant action. It kept me entertained from beginning to end.
So you liked it?
Yeah, I did. Did you think I wasn't going to like it?
I did.
Oh, after you watched it, you thought it wasn't going to be my type of movie?
I don't know. Sometimes when I think it's your type of movie, it's not. And then when I think it's not going to be your type of movie, it is. So I knew the Chris Evans would have you when I suggested, because I just saw a teaser for it and I sent you a text and I was like, great man, we're doing it. And you were just like, oh, okay. So you didn't seem very excited, even I guess after watching the trailer or the teaser. So
I'd never watched the trailer or the teaser.
Oh, okay. So maybe that never got your excitement, because I think I did send you the trailer. And I didn't. I just said great.
No.
I just
yeah,
said
you
great
just
man.
told me Gray Man, and then you told me Chris Evans, Ryan Gosling. So then I was just like, my response was, okay. And then I never went to go watch the trailer, so I really never knew what this movie was about. I just knew who the main players were.
Oh, okay. So I I had heard about it, and the Russo brothers. I love the Russo brothers, but I'd heard about it, and I remember them saying, Chris Evans' next movie is going to be with the Russo brothers. I remember just hearing bits and pieces about it. And then I just saw like a teaser and I was like, ooh, okay, definitely. And Ryan Gosling hasn't done anything in a while. So I was just like, oh, okay. And I usually love Ryan Gosling films. So I knew it was something that I had to watch, that I just wanted to see. And I loved it. I love action movies. I love good action movies. We were just having a conversation about action and story and the meeting of the two. So, did you think it was a good story to go along with the action?
Yes.
Okay. And I think this is, for me, it's a perfect marriage of the two, where story can propel the action, and you need to have a good movie, no matter what it is, a drama, um, an action movie has to have a good story. And I like the way they told the story. I like the way the story was told. I love the cast. Did it meet your sexy man quota for action movies? If you say no, I'm going to jump through here and strangle you.
Who's the sexy man?
Gosling, Evans, Ray. Take your pick.
Okay, so funny thing. He was admittedly a great Duke of Hastings in Bridgerton. I did not fall for him in Bridgerton, right? Never entered my list. I'm not a fan of his. I do think that he played the role of the villain, of one of the villains, very well. So I think what really made me love this movie, because I really did love it. I just started talking it up to everybody. What really made me love this movie was the acting was really good. Like, not only the story, which I thought was good, the action was really, really good. The action scenes, the fighting scenes were really good, but the acting was just on just I was about to say on par, but just as good. And I think that's what really sold the whole movie for me. Is I love the fact that Chris Evans is really getting to show people. I've seen movies beforehand, so I know that he can actually act and that he's actually really good, because I've been a fan of his before he did Captain America. But to separate himself completely from the persona of Captain America, the roles that he has chosen since he stepped away from the Marvel universe, is to really show people like, hey, yeah, I've been with Marvel for over 10 years and I know that was my big money maker, but yeah, I can actually act, y'all. Like that's not the only thing I can do. Like, I can't just look good and sexy on screen, but I can actually act, and I need y'all to really pay attention. So I think that um one of like the stars of this whole movie was Chris Evans, and how different he was from any other role that he's ever played. Like, even when he played in oh my god, what's the one with the family who
Knives
oh
Up.
huh
Knives Up.
yeah, even even when he played in that
Knives Out. Sorry.
Knives Out. Even when he played in Knives Out, which I thought was like the first step for him to show, like, hey, I got some acting chops here. I think this has completely separated from the persona of Captain America. I think he did a phenomenal, phenomenal job. He really, really stood out in the role of a sociopath. Like, he was literally a sociopath, and he really stood out. He sold the role to me. Like, I really truly believe, like, oh my god, like he's crazy. Like, he's crazy in the head, and he's doing it so well. Um, so yeah, there is sexy. The sexy factor is definitely there. Um, but I think like the acting is what sold the movie for me. Like, the acting is what really sold the movie for me.
Um, I agree. Like, they're all good actors, and Ryan Gosling is one of those who, which we can talk about in a moment, but Ryan Gosling is one of those who, whenever he's in a movie, because he does some indie films and he does some art house indie, and he does, but I know that it's going to be something that tests his acting chops. Believe it or not, this is the first action film Ryan Gosling has ever done. And I was surprised when I learned that. I was like, oh, wow. And then I went back and thought about it. I'm like, wow, he's never really been. Drive was good, and I guess Drive was the closest thing you could think of as action, but it wasn't. It wasn't a whole lot of action. It wasn't just like this type of action. So he's one of those that I know is going to be. He doesn't, they may not be big box office successes, but I know he doesn't just go in trying to make a trash movie. Not every movie is going to be as successful as you think, but so I knew it had to be something that was going to test the acting chops. I know Reg Jean Page, he's anxious to break out of the Duke of Hastings mode. That's one of the reasons why he left, is because he didn't want to be typecast from that point on. He wanted to keep, pushing his acting chops and take advantage of the popularity that he has now. So I wasn't surprised by the acting, but I have to admit it was good. And I think sometimes, going back to our whole story versus action thing, I think sometimes with action movies, they don't require for the best, or they don't call for the best acting, and maybe that goes back to the story. But I agree with you, the acting was good, and Chris Evans was amazing as the psychopath, um, as the big bad. Now, who do you think is a better big bad, him or Jake Gyllenhaal?
He is, because Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't a big bad in Ambulance.
Well, crazy. Who plays crazy better? Let me put it that way.
He does, because I will also say I don't think that's a good comparison.
Like, I just, I do, and I'm gonna say why, because they normally I love seeing good guys, good boys going bad or whatever. It's just interesting with people who normally play the heroine or the hero or the main good guy when they go bad, and I like to see them delve into it and how much fun they have with it. And the thing about this one though is I was saying that you could tell that Chris Evans, that his character was on a leash. Like you could see it, and it kind of goes back to the fact that actually Bender, played by Jessica Henwick, the female CIA agent, that's why she was there, was to keep him on a leash. So I was like, and so the whole time I just kept saying, could you imagine what it was like if he was truly unhandcuffed? Like if she had not been sent to try to contain him as much
But
as
she didn't.
possible? Huh?
She never once contained him.
A little, it's like he was a little leash. Like he was still,
No,
yeah,
Eddie.
like
When was he on a leash? What is one thing that he was not able to do?
I think it would have been worse if she wasn't there.
No,
Like
it
at
was
the end, he was going
horrible.
completely off the rails.
No, it was horrible through and through. Like it was horrible. They shot up a house in public in broad daylight and she did nothing. He killed one of the star players of the CIA, retired chief of the CIA, and she did nothing. Her only response was, did we just kill Margaret Cahill? You mean to tell me you wasn't standing there the whole time while this dude was doing what he was doing? Heck yeah, he just killed the chief, Margaret Cahill. Like she never once, because remember when she called Denny and she was just like, he's like you can't control him. Like you literally can't control him. You sent me here to keep him contained, and he's like, you can't contain him. Nobody can contain him. Not even Denny could. So like, and that's the reason why Denny sent him, because he knew he was a sociopath. So like at the end of the day, I don't feel that she did anything to contain him. He went his crazy self. He killed civilians. He killed anyone he needed to get. He kidnapped the niece who had a heart condition. Like, and she was just like, honestly, I think that she thought she was better than they were, but she was not. Like, you were literally the female version of Denny. You just hadn't had a moment to shine yet.
No, and you get that at the end. Like I think the only reason that she hadn't, I think the only reason why she seemed like she was the rational one, and is because she knew that Denny, because when she explained that her, Denny, and Chris Evans' character, I forgot his name. Um, Go figure, I'm horrible with names. But when she said that they all went to Harvard together, they were classmates, and those two had their bromance that she could never quite crack. Once he was out of the picture, because she knew Denny would, she knew that they would always side together, and that Denny would not hesitate to turn him on her. So once he was out of the picture, it was like, oh, okay, now we're on equal footing, we're on equal playing field, and you saw her tendencies, that she was just as bad as they were, come to light. So when you thought she was the voice of reason or sanity in the room, you got that maybe, okay, maybe she was the one that was actually being contained because of, God, what was his name? You're good with names.
Was it Noah?
We'll see. Um, because he was always on, because he was always around. So that was interesting. But I liked Chris Evans in that role. I still felt like he was a little bit on a leash. He did some unhinged shit, but I still, Lloyd Hansen. And the porn stash didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. It actually was quite fitting.
Oh, his mustache.
Yeah. So um I liked it. What did you think about Ryan Gosling in the role?
I thought he did a phenomenal job as well. He was glib, sarcastic. Um, he was a boss. Six was a boss. Like, because they never got what his true motivation was. It was, they were very on the surface on how they were trying to deal with him. rather than thinking like real deep of like he was different from the other criminals, and they never took that into account. They just looked at it as in he was a criminal, probably because they never actually knew his background. They just knew that he was a criminal, but they didn't actually know what his crime was or anything like that because they didn't know his name. um so because of that, they never truly understood what his motivation was and why he was chosen. The other ones may have been criminals, you know, willing to break the law and everything like that, but he was different in why he ended up in prison. And that's ultimately why I think also he was the closest to Fitzroy.
Yeah, like as you go along, you realize Fitz did a lot to protect him. Um, and I was saying that it was actually kind of neat how he, Fitz, Cahill, they became like this surrogate family. Like they, you know, Cahill and Fitzroy were kind of more or less like the mom or the dad, his surrogate parents, and Claire, I guess, became his reluctant little sister or whatever. But because you know, and you got that. Like I didn't get the sense that Fitz wiped away everyone else's identity and took the means or to protect everyone else. Like all the, I think there were 12 in all. The other 11, the way he did him, where everything was gone. And I was saying to
No, that
someone
was the
that,
program though.
yeah, I mean, I know that they didn't exist on paper. I get that, but I'm talking about even the CIA. Like technically, you don't exist on paper, but even the CIA, like the CIA knew who Four was. They knew his background. They had nothing on Six. So when you send them into operations, they don't exist on paper. Like the covert, there's nothing about that group. But the CIA knows who they are. So like, but when they went to his file, there was nothing. It was empty. It was blank. Right. And I was telling my mom when I watched it with her, I was saying that hey, um, even on paper, as far as those who knew who he was, there was one or two ways he got out of jail. He either died in jail on paper, or they probably still thought he was in jail since he wasn't supposed to get out to 2031. But like, and it was amazing because they even kept it a secret from us because all we knew about him was his name was Six. Like we didn't get his real name or
Yes, we
anything.
did.
We
You missed that part, didn't you?
I did. What was it?
It was Cortland.
Oh,
They said it at the very beginning when him and Billy Bob Thornton's character, Fitzroy, was
we're
sitting
sitting
across.
in jail.
Yes, the first thing that
Oh.
he did was he said his full name, what year he was born, how old he was when he went to
Oh,
prison. Hmm.
oh, okay. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I get it. I know what you're talking about now. Okay,
But
yeah,
after that, like he when he was wiped from the system, that's when they only knew him as Six. But
six.
you found out his name at the very beginning. I had to rewatch it. When I watched it the second time is when I noticed that he did reveal what his name was.
Okay, I have to go. I didn't have a chance to. I was like, this is definitely going on the rewatch list, but I didn't have a chance to rewatch it, and it's on Netflix as well as in movie theaters. But I didn't have a chance to rewatch it before we take this. But yeah, so I did like that he kind of had this surrogate family, and it was very small about who he trusted, and even after Fitz had to betray him, it was like I love the way that Fitz told him how to find him in that, and that he understood. He was like, "Dude, they compromised me. They got my niece," and that just kind of let him know, "Oh, this is how I can find you because she has that pacemaker." And you know, pacemakers kind of act as a surrogate GPS because they have to keep track of them. So I thought that was ingenious, and so that also lets you know that not many people knew about Claire's heart condition because that was also the reason why he sent Six to watch after her when he was in Brazil, and she had just gotten her pacemaker put in. So I love that. What did you think about the relationship between Six and Claire?
I thought the relationship that he had with all of them was like really, really good. Even the like, because I also feel like it was very, very reluctant to connect to all of them. But like you said, it was kind of like, ah, crap, like here goes my little sister. I can't do nothing about you. Like I gotta protect you. He was very, very protective of Fitzroy, which means that he was very protective of the niece. And I love that, like, once they got over the initial introduction, like both of them was like all in. So when he told her to trust him, she trusted him. And I thought that was really good. Like she knew he was going to come. Like she knew. She was like, is he coming? And when Fitzroy was like, if he has two legs, he will walk through that door. And he walked through and she was like, you're late. What took you so long, or something like that? And I was just like, I think that was really, really good on my, she knew that he was going to come for her. She knew
Yeah.
that he was going to come for her. But I also think that the connection that he ultimately makes with the woman who I forgot what her name was, Anna's character, was also really, really good, because that was also reluctant, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, we're in this though.
Yeah. Before we get on to Anna de Armas' character, I love him and Claire. The part where Claire, she was just busting his balls like all the time. You can't chew gum in here. We don't chew gum in this house. And I'm like, your uncle, the king of bubblicious, like, and you don't chew gum, or just like when they were outside and the bond. And I love their code word, like it's just another Thursday, like it's gonna be okay, you know. So I did love that. And I love the scenes with, I love Alfre Woodard. So just about anything she's in, she's a scene stiller. And you know, even going out, I love that she went out on her own terms and she took as many of them out with her. Like I was like, oh, you can take the woman out the CIA, but you can't take the CIA out the
Mm-hmm.
woman. Like, you know, she told him she had that souped up bulletproof car in city center, loaded to the gills with weapons, just waiting. And you know, she had the escape hatch in her apartment. So I was just like, damn, she was ready. But I love that. And um, Anna de Armas, I liked her character. I liked the role, but and that's where I stop on that. But I don't know. What did you think about her?
I loved her.
I thought she
I
was
thought
bad. Go
I thought
ahead.
she did a better job. I thought she was badass, more than Susan. Like, because you didn't expect her to be badass. You thought that she was going to be a weak link. And she was the one who was always saving him. She was the one who was always coming in and saving him, which shows like she was really, really good at her job. I loved her character. Um, I'm kind of like upset that like she wasn't part of the get Claire out of the house thing at the very end. But you know that she's gonna play the role that she plays while she's still in the CIA. She got back her her role and everything like that. But no, I liked her better than Susan.
Oh yeah, I definitely liked her better than Susan. I don't know if I wasn't crazy. I don't know if I wasn't crazy about the casting. I mean, don't get me wrong, she was a badass and I loved her. And I loved that part at the hospital where she went off on, you gave me an unloaded gun. And he was like, you don't throw loaded guns. And she's like, and he goes, who expects that? And she's like, I do. If you give me a gun, I expect it to be loaded so I can shoot the bad guys. Like, who throws? And then when they were at the place and she goes, if you're going to take his gun, you better make sure it's loaded. I'm like,
Loaded.
oh, the shade. And he looked at her like,
It's
you still
real.
haven't let that shit go?
Never. That's gonna be a joke for life.
Yeah, so I don't know what it was. Like I love the character. Maybe it was the casting. I don't know if I'm not just the biggest Anna de Armas fan yet. I have no idea. But as far as the character goes, I agree with you. Um,
She was better
I
than she was when she was a Bond girl.
She was, and I don't. She was, and I don't know. Maybe if it's just the way that they write Bond girls, just to be these sexy vixens and semi badass. I don't know, and I have no idea. But I did like her better than that. In that I am looking forward to her in the female version of John Wick in that show. So she does action well. I don't know. Maybe it was the bad wig or the bad hairstyle that I didn't like, but it was just something. I can't quite put my finger on it. But as far as the overall character and her badassness, that is not to be questioned because she was ride or die. And I was thinking maybe she was low key in on the fact that she snuck a message to him to tell him how to get Claire out, or we didn't necessarily see how he got out of the CIA building and the CIA detention hospital. Maybe she helped him in some type of way. Like I'm choosing to believe that she played some type of behind the scenes in that. And maybe she, like you said, she chose to stay in her role in the CIA to give him information to help. And I think ultimately she stays there as an inside man to help bring them down, because she has no love for Susan and Carmichael. Like they nearly ruined her career and her life. And I think she was just playing the game because it's better to have one of them in jail and not the other. So
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see how that plays out in the sequel. Getting ahead of ourselves a little bit there. Um, but back to the Anna de Armas and James Bond. One of the comments she said is something we talked about before. She specifically said that there should not be a female James Bond, but you just need to make better roles for women. And I know you agree with that, right? You thought,
Yes.
yeah. I I say it's not an either or proposition. I say, A, yes, you definitely need to make better roles for women. But you can also do so by making a female James Bond. Like I said, James Bond is just the alias, or 007 is the alias for the agent who's in that particular role. And I would love to see a female kick ass in that role as a 007. So
Oh
I'm
yeah, give him 007, not a female James Bond,
so
which
I'm
is
of the
different.
so I'm of the role. I'm of the mindset that you can have um, that it's not an either or proposition. Okay. Um, so maybe it was just her hair that threw me off. I don't know. I did not like the wig, and that was one of those things. I guess it was one of those minor things that just bothered me that carried over to the character. But I'm also glad she did not play that whimpering save me," and she was the one that was always saving him. Like, and because that part where she goes, "Are you okay?" He goes, "My ego's just a little bruised." He's like, I think I need a moment to save you," or something like that. So I thought it was nice of them to play that. Going back to Ryan Reynolds, they mentioned Chris Evans had a scene where he mentioned that he was a Ken doll, and that came along because Ryan Reynolds is going to play Ken in the Barbie movie. That movie looks utterly ridiculous, but I've seen pictures of Ryan Reynolds. I mean, not I don't know why I keep saying Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Gosling as Ken. Um, are you in or out
I'm out.
of the Barbie movie?
Yeah,
Even though it's going to be so ridiculous.
I don't do ridiculous.
Not even just to see it.
It looks horrible. I'm no, I'm not. I'm not gonna waste my time. Like, I'm not. I like the actors who are playing the roles, but it's gonna be ridiculous, and I'm not gonna waste my time. I don't care if it's Ryan Gosling who's playing Ken. He looks absolutely awful, awful, in the role of
He
Ken.
looks like Ken.
He looks
Coming off his
awful.
energy.
I've had Ken dolls, and Ken dolls do not look. Ryan, okay, so Ryan
I'm sure
Gosling,
he's more anatomically correct than your Kendall.
no, Ryan Gosling.
You're saying Ryan Gosling is
No, no,
more
no. Listen, listen.
anatomically correct than your
Ryan,
Kendall?
no, Ryan Gosling is a really good looking dude. I consider him to be a really good looking dude. He is not good looking Ken wise on what the Ken doll is supposed to look like. And so when it came out with the whole image of him being Ken, I was just like, oh, hell no. That is not Ken. That's not the looks that he has. He does not have Ken looks. I'm not saying that he's not a good looking dude, because he really is. He's sexy, he's good looking, but he doesn't have Ken doll looks. And so I'm going to say an unpopular opinion, I guess. Horrible casting on making him Ken. Horrible casting on making him Ken. He is not Ken. So that's why I know that the movie is going to be absolutely ridiculous. More ridiculous than it would have been if they had casted an actor who would have been a better Ken. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to waste my time on it.
See, I think his makeover as Ken made him more believable. Because when I first heard, I'm like, Ryan Gosling as Ken. First of all, it didn't even seem like the type of movie he would do. And then I couldn't see him as Ken. But when I saw the makeover, I was like, oh, okay, this
He
may
doesn't have
have.
the face. He doesn't have the face.
I
He
think
doesn't have the
he does.
face. He does not have the face. He is not Ken good looking. He doesn't have the face. Chris Evans has the face, because Ken is a jock boy next door look, like the ultimate jock dude, all American jock guy. Chris Evans, that is his look. Chris Evans is the all American jock looking guy, which is crazy because he's such a great guy. But he just has that all American jock looking. Ryan Gosling does not have that. But of course, he's been casted. People love Ryan Gosling, so they're gonna go see it, and they're going to be all in because it's Ryan Gosling. But I'm just gonna say the honest opinion of Ryan Gosling does not have Ken looks. So I think it was bad casting because he does not have Ken looks. Doesn't take away from the fact that he's a really good looking dude, but he doesn't have Ken looks, and that just needs to be acknowledged. But I'm sure he'll get a lot of women to the theater because people love Ryan Gosling.
I think the Ken makeover worked. I liked it. I think and I'm going into it thinking, when I first heard about the movie, I did not want to see it. But the more I learn about it, the more I see, I'm like, okay, lean in. I know it's going to be one of those movies that's just ridiculous. So you go for the ridiculousness of it. And that's what I'm leaning into. So I'm okay with the over the top ridiculousness of it. I'm not expecting Oscar winning great storytelling, although it might surprise me, but we'll see. Okay. So who was one of your favorite characters? Back to the Gray Man. Who did you like, or who did you think stole the show if you had a scene stealer or a particularly favorite character? Did you?
Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling.
Not Chris Evans. I like them, but I also love Danush, like the ass kicking guy, the Tamil guy. Uh, his name was Avik in the movie. Gosh, he kicked ass, and so even in the hospital, it was like when he asked her, "Okay, who you want to go? I want to go." She goes, "No, you can go. You can start." And he was just kicking their asses up and down. And when they were at the castle in Croatia, and she had to fight him again. I Her name was Danny. I was like, oh gosh, I would have rather have to fight anybody but him at this moment. And so it was like I loved him in that role, even though, and I love the part where he just dropped, where they're fighting and he finally cuts the string, the cord that was choking them both. And he finally just drops the necklace and he says, take it. He's like, the money doesn't matter to me. These are not honorable people. Like, I'm out. And so, and my mom was like, but he knew they were bad people. I said, there's a difference between being bad and dishonorable. And I was like, I said, it really clicked to him when, oh boy, when Chris Evans's character was going to kill the little girl. Like when he was just like, wait, you're going to kill the girl? And he was like, yeah, in order to make an omelet, you have to kill some people. And he was just like, oh no, I'm good. So, but I liked him. I thought he was an ass kicker, even though he was on the wrong side. So, and I also like I said before, I just love anything. I just love Alfre Woodard. So I loved seeing her as Margaret Cahill. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Why do I keep saying Reynolds? Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. They were. It was their movie, so they were obviously great in it. I love the background. It made me want to travel. I really want to go to Prague. I've heard it was a beautiful place, but they actually shot the movie in Prague, and I was just like, oh, it makes me really, really want to visit. So just a side note, I'm ready to get my travel on. Fuck you, Rona. Did you have a particularly favorite scene?
No. Wait. Not that comes to my mind that like really stood out. I think like just overall the action scenes and the fight scenes were really, really good. The action scenes were really good. So like all the action scenes just really played into the whole story.
It did. And I kept saying the whole time, I should have gone to spy school. I should have gone to spy school. Knowing that it's not, it's not, you don't literally you don't shoot up cities like that on a regular. And it's not that choreographed where, because I was saying, because in one scene where he got hit by a car, he just gets up. I said, oh, once the adrenaline wears off, he is going to be so sore and so hurt and so much pain. But yeah, I was just like, ooh, all the cool shit. I should have gone to spy school. I should have gone to spy school. Um, but yeah, I don't know that I like I said, I really love the scenes with him and Claire. Um, I think one of my favorites because it explains so a lot. Going back to something you said earlier, is that they never understood who he was or his motivation. Um, I love the part where it showed us his dad and where he talked about his dad and where you see the cigarette burn on his hand. And I kind of figured when he was in jail in the beginning that he killed his dad. I don't know why, even before it mentioned it, when he just said you killed a really bad guy, and I would have done the same thing. I was like, oh, so he killed his dad. And I don't know why I just thought that, but I thought, I don't know. And but then it's like he and I don't know if you agree with this, but it's almost like he and Chris Evans were two sides of the same coin, were different sides of the same coin, but they had different motivations. Like Six's dad made him the semi-sociopath that he was, or just the guy that he was, and he said it. He trained him because when they were in the car scene and he was talking about why he burned them, he was like, I'm teaching you to withstand fear and pain. And if you can get through that, if you can get over that part, if you can get over your fear and the fear of pain, nothing will ever hurt you. And I was like, damn. And so it was just like, that's why he could take so much. And, and plus he was just really protective of the people that he cared about because he said he killed his brother, he killed his dad to protect his younger brother. Um, so it was just really good, like those little storytelling details I loved. And it goes back to everything. Okay, sequel, yay or nay? Are you favor, yes or no?
Well, yeah, because he got to go after Denny and Suzanne and the big boss, Grandpa.
Yeah, like we never saw who the old man was, never had a clue. Like I was like, it probably is a woman. And then I was like, because even when they were at the CIA hearing at the end, I'm like, is that the old
No,
man?
it's a man.
So I was just like,
They called
oh,
him Grandpa. They said he. It's a man.
okay.
Now,
Maybe
is
it's
it
a
the president of the United States?
ooh, because this was never mind. We won't talk about that. As far ways we can get from that is great. Um, yeah, I definitely could see a sequel, and I was thinking like back to Claire. Um, it would be cool like to just see how he does. Like I could see it starting off with him somewhere, maybe in Ecuador or somewhere with Claire. Like would he send her to boarding school or would he keep her near? Part of me says he would send her to boarding school just so she would be safe. Then the other part says he would have to keep her near because of her heart condition and to just to make sure that she was safe because he wouldn't trust anyone else to do it. And then him teaching her how to defend herself and how to take care of herself. I was like, oh, that would be cute. But I definitely hope there is a sequel. It is real. I really liked it. And I thought it was a good action series. I think it would be a great action series. Like you said, it was a great action movie. One of the better ones that I've seen recently, outside of like a James Bond film. I think it got it right. It really did. Um, all right. Is there anything you would like to see in a sequel besides them get Denny and Suzanne and
I
find
want
out
to
who the
see
old man is?
Ryan Reynolds.
Actual Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, in the sequel. I need
Oh,
them to bring him in as a character.
Ryan Reynolds is the old man.
No, no. Who's older? Chris. Who's older? Ryan Gosling or Ryan Reynolds?
Reynolds.
Damn it! I was gonna say he could play the younger brother.
Well, he didn't necessarily say his brother was younger. He just said he was going after his brother. So I just assumed it was a younger brother. But yeah, he never said he.
But no, like Reynolds and Ryan Gosling have never played in a movie, which is crazy to me. And when I was watching this movie, my thought was they need to play in a movie together. Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling needs to play in a movie together. Like they know each other in the business and everything like that. They taking pictures together. I would love to see that because I've always been so upset at the fact that Six Underground never got a sequel.
Oh no, God! Or a series,
Yeah,
even if Reynolds was not in it every day because he's so busy. But
Yeah.
even if he just passed it off and he was the big guy, or
He
you
was the
just heard
money
his
man. He was the
voice.
money guy behind everybody. I would be, but
Yes,
he's
like,
never got a sequel to that, and I'm so upset. Like that's like my ninja assassin. Like that's like
yeah,
I'm
it
so
is.
upset.
Yeah, Six Underground is amazing, and we said it. I don't think we reviewed it, did we?
No, we didn't
No.
review it, but I have brought it up many times on how much
Yeah.
I love that movie. I can rewatch it. I can rewatch Gray Man as well. It's really, really good. But part of the sequel was, besides him going after Denny and Suzanne, because they won't leave him alone, they're going to want him dead. I don't see him keeping Claire close to him. I do see him sending her away somewhere, kind of like how Fitzroy did to her, where he would come to her every once in a while to visit and everything. She would know he's out there, but he can't be the one to take care of her, because that would be a weakness on both their parts. So he would just have to make sure that he's hiding her somewhere where he can get to her at any time. But he's gonna have to go after the big bad. I think they completely set it up perfectly for a sequel, based on the popularity of it. I think it's going to be a hit. If it hasn't already been a hit, it's number one on Netflix right now for movies. So I do see a sequel happening. If they can give a sequel to Red Notice, they damn sure can give a sequel to The Gray Man.
Oh
So,
God, yes,
so,
yes.
so yes, I would love to see the sequel to The Gray Man. I think that it would be absolutely phenomenal. Really excited. The story, the action, it just went hand in hand. Kind of sad Chris Evans wouldn't be brought back into the series, because I think he was one of the most phenomenal parts of the whole movie, on how well he played that role. Like, it just still shocks me, because for anyone who doesn't know, Chris Evans is a really great guy. Like, he's nothing like this character. Like, so it's just amazing on how much he, bought into this character, that he played, this sociopath that he played. But yeah, so that's me. That's my lasting opinion.
Yeah, and I think it will be a success. It should be. Netflix. This is the most expensive movie ever, for Netflix. And even though it is in theaters, it has a limited run release in theaters, it is a Netflix movie, Netflix production. The Russo brothers made it specifically for Netflix. They happen to be of the mind that they're like, hey, they were not discriminating against, whether it's, they're not snobbish about whether it should be in the theaters or Netflix. They're like, hey, the hybrid is here to stay, the hybrid model. So they had no problems with making it for Netflix. Um, and I would love, like you said, I would love to see a sequel. And I think any of those things were possible. Like I said, yeah, she could be away at board. Part of me sees him keeping her away at boarding school for those reasons, and part of me sees her keeping him close. Sees him keeping her close, with him because of the heart condition and because he wouldn't trust anyone else to take care of her. But either or would work. Six Underground, Netflix. That is my next campaign. Obviously, the Ninja Assassins campaign worked. Yes, I'm going to keep telling myself that. So we are now starting a Six Underground campaign. It either needs to be a series or a full-on sequel. Okay, hear us out on this. We are demanding it. There. Are you happy? I'm starting my
Mm-hmm.
campaign for you.
Thank
All
you.
right. So how would you rate this?
I'm gonna give The Gray Man 4.5 popcorns. Um, Absolutely phenomenal. Like, I can watch it again. I can suggest it to everybody. Like I said before, I'll repeat it one more time. Really short and sweet. The acting was phenomenal. The action scenes were phenomenal. The fight scenes were phenomenal. It was a great movie. Love the fact that it was on Netflix. It's a Netflix film. They had more leeway and more freedom. Being that they don't have to like go for like the major studios or something like that. So it's absolutely phenomenal. I suggest everybody go and watch it. I do not think you'll be disappointed.
You summarized that very well. I cannot uh add on. I have nothing to add on to that. I too gave it four and a half popcorns, for a lot of the same reasons. One thing I will add to that, in the sequel that we are also calling for at this moment, I would love to see more of, um I'm just gonna call him RJP. I would love to see RJ more of RJP's evil machinations. I would love to see him be forced to get down and get his hands dirty. Although you can tell he's not the one to get his hands dirty. He's the one to make other people do the dirty work. But I want to see more of his evil machinations. What happens now that your pit bull, so to speak, is no longer there to do the dirty work for you? And the infighting between him and Suzanne, because you know that's going to be a power play. That's just a thought. But yeah, so yeah, that does it. You got anything else to add before we wrap this up?
No, we're good. Wrap it up.
All right. That does it for this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. Please be sure to listen, like, follow, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and or Amazon. Oh yeah, and iHeartRadio, and basically just about anywhere where you can listen to a podcast. You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of, um, pop culture goodness at the popcornwinddown.com. That's it. That's the plug.
Pop, 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 pop.
Oh, okay. My plug machine is working now. Got the AC hitting. Thank you as always, and be sure to join us next week when we switch gears a little bit and we do it up about one of our favorite things, groups, people. We are going to talk GOT7, y'all, one of our favorite K-pop groups, and their amazing comeback. And that will be the lead off to kicking off our Extra Butter K-pop comeback series. Yes, I said series. There will be multiple episodes for you to stay tuned and listen to about some of the latest K-pop comebacks and some of our favorite groups. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it will be fun. We've never done a series like that before. It's always kind of been a one-off episode. So I hope you guys look forward to that and look forward to the goodness of GOT7. You know they've got to be special if they're getting the BTS treatment, because I think the only group that we've done like a full-on episode or multiple episodes on, obviously, is BTS. So for another group to reach that status, you know there's something special. So stay tuned for that. We cannot wait. And until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.